I'll never forget the night I drove home late from a business trip in Indiana. It was a Tuesday, midweek, nothing unusual about it. The weather had been fine all day, but by the time I hit the stretch of Route 62, a dense fog had rolled in, the kind that swallows everything beyond a few feet in front of your headlights. I was exhausted, running on caffeine and gas station snacks, just trying to make it home to Louisville. It was pushing midnight, and the two-lane highway was practically deserted. My GPS had stopped working an hour ago, and there wasn't a single streetlight for miles, just thick, looming trees on either side of the road. That's when I saw it. A car on the shoulder, its hazard lights blinking faintly through the fog. Now, I know what you're thinking. Keep driving, right? Everyone's heard the horror stories. But something about it felt different. The car wasn't some beat-up junker, it was a newer model, a white Toyota Camry maybe a couple of years old. It didn't feel like the setup to a scam. And then I saw her. She was standing a few feet from the car, waving one arm frantically while holding her phone in the other. She looked like someone you'd see at a college campus, mid-20s, jeans, a zip-up hoodie, her blonde hair tied back in a ponytail. She didn't scream danger, she screamed. I slowed down, hesitating as my car crept closer. She stepped into the beam of my headlights, squinting against the light, and waved both hands this time. I cracked my window just a bit. "Hey, everything okay?" Her voice came out shaky, like she was on the verge of tears. "My car broke down. I've been trying to get a tow truck, but I can't get a signal. Can you help?" I glanced at the empty road ahead and behind me. There was no one else around. No one to help her if I didn't. Against my better judgment, I put the car in park and got out. "What's wrong with it?" I asked, keeping my tone casual. I don't know," she stammered. "It just died while I was driving. Won't start now." I stepped closer to the car, keeping a careful distance from her. The hood was slightly open, but I could tell she hadn't touched it. I don't think she even knew where to start. "Pop the hood," I said, gesturing to the car. She nodded and climbed into the driver's seat, fumbling with the latch. I lifted the hood and pretended to look at the engine even though I had no idea what I was doing. Truthfully, I just wanted to make sure this wasn't some kind of setup. But here's the thing, there was no one else. No second car hiding nearby, no shadows lurking in the trees. Just her, the Camry, and me. After a minute, I stepped back and shook my head. "I'm no mechanic, but it doesn't look like anything obvious. I can give you a ride into town if you want. It's not far." She hesitated, biting her lip. "Are you sure? I don't want to bother you." "It's no trouble," I said, trying to sound reassuring. "You can't stay out here all night." She gave me a grateful smile and grabbed a small bag from the car before climbing into my passenger seat. We drove in silence for a few minutes, the hum of the engine filling the awkward void. I tried to make small talk to ease the tension. "So, where were you headed?" "Home," she said softly. "I was visiting my mom in Bloomington. She hasn't been well." I nodded, glancing at her out of the corner of my eye. She looked tired, worn out, like someone carrying more weight than they could handle. As we approached the next small town, Rockford I think it was, I started to feel a little more at ease. The lights of a 24-hour diner came into view and I slowed down. "Do you want me to drop you here? You can call for a tow or wait for someone." She hesitated. "Could you take me a little further, just to the other side of town?" Something about the way she said it made my stomach twist. I glanced in the rearview mirror and froze. Headlights. A pair of them, faint in the distance but definitely there. I hadn't seen another car for over an hour, and now, suddenly, there was one tailing us. I tried to shake off the feeling of unease. "Sure," I said, keeping my voice steady. "Where exactly?" She didn't answer right away. Instead, she turned in her seat, looking out the back window. Her face had gone pale. "Is everything okay?" I asked, my voice tightening. She shook her head, her voice barely a whisper. I think he found me." My grip on the steering wheel tightened. "What do you mean? Who found you?" She didn't answer. The car behind us was getting closer now, its headlights growing brighter in the mirror. "Listen," she said suddenly, her voice urgent. "Don't stop. No matter what happens, just keep driving." I didn't need to be told twice. I pressed the gas pedal, my heart pounding in my chest. The car behind us sped up, matching my pace, its headlights glaring in my mirror. "Who is that?" I demanded. She didn't look at me. Just drive." The next 10 minutes were a blur of adrenaline and fear. The other car stayed on our tail, never getting too close but never falling behind. I took turns at random, trying to lose them, but they always reappeared, their headlights cutting through the fog like knives. Finally, I spotted a police station up ahead. I didn't ask her permission. I just pulled into the lot, slamming the car into park. "Stay here," I said, my voice firm. I ran inside, shouting for help. 2 officers came out with me, but by the time we got to my car, the other vehicle was gone. The girl? Gone, too. She left without a word, without a trace, leaving her bag behind on my seat. Inside the bag, there was nothing but a single envelope. No money, no ID, just a slip of paper with 3 words scrawled in shaky handwriting. "Don't trust anyone." I handed the note to the officers and told them everything, but they didn't seem too concerned. They took my statement and told me they'd look into it, but I never heard back. To this day, I don't know who she was running from, or why she chose me to help her. All I know is I've never taken Route 62 at night again.